I hate this junction, and I live on it. So, here I am again, out on an MT10. This time, as you may have noticed, I didn't steal my wife's. This MT10 is my MT10. Yes. And we're going to explain why. So in my 2MT10 or not video, let's make sure we're not going to die, okay? I said that I would stick to my Aprilia, and it looks, from all intents and purposes, that I did not stick to my Aprilia, and there are reasons. I do stick by what I said on that video. The Aprilia still is, in my opinion, the best super naked on the market. The only one of them I haven't ridden is the Ducati Street Fighter V4S. The rest of them I've ridden, and yeah, the Aprilia for a day hacking around bike is awesome. You can't beat it. However, I got the Aprilia in 2019 brand new. My wife bought it for me for my 50th birthday, and that's part of the problem, being old. So in under 2 years I put 15,000 miles on that bike. I took it to Germany. It's obviously been around Wales, it's been around England, it was going to go to Scotland, but COVID got in the way, and it didn't skip a beat. It was awesome. It wasn't unreliable, it wasn't anything. However, in 15,000 miles, there is one of the reasons why I got rid of it. It's supposed to be serviced every 6,000 miles, so that's a dealer service. That's minimum 280 quid. Yeah, minimum 280 pounds. So that's 6,000 miles. Then at 12,000 miles, you need to get a valve check done. So, and even without them doing anything, that's a day's job. And again, minimum, I think I paid £803 for a 12,000 mile valve check. And then what happened was why are you not recording, motherfucker? Record. Anyway, and then what happened was at 12, I went and did a Germany trip after that, and by the time I got back, I'd put another 3,000 miles on the bike, so it was halfway to the next service. So I'm already at that kind of service within no time, and I'm just racking up money and racking up money. So yeah, the running costs on that, if you're going to tour, doesn't really work. You can do it, but it costs. And then the other point is, on the last day of the last Germany trip, which by the way I did 2 videos on, one with the Likeable Rider and the other one with Andy Man Cam, and I've always wanted to say this, I'll put a link in the top right hand corner to those videos somewhere around here. Anyway, so on the last day of that trip, I think it was 7 Germany to southwest Wales in one day. It's over 700 miles and it happened to be on the weekend of the fuel shortage last year, and that destroyed me. That absolutely destroyed me, that did. I got off the bike at the end of it and I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing? So that kind of made my mind up. So there you go. Old men, watch out. So I thought it's time to start looking for something else. So I figured I'd fancy an S1000 XR. And yeah, I went and test drove one, and I actually thought it was a little bit gutless. I wasn't overly impressed with it. It just seemed like it was lacking something. What didn't help is that the dealer I went and test rode it from didn't take the restrictor off, so they gave it to me restricted, knowing that I had come from an Aprilia. And also, to be fair, the dealer was a bit of a dick. Yeah, it was one of those, oh, you don't know what you're doing, I know more than you, blah 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 blah. Yeah, they let's not go into it, but let's try not to name dealers anyway, other than to say that they started with an M and ended with a P in Swansea. So yeah, I didn't buy a bike from them. There were too many things that they were not trustworthy, let's just say that. So my wife has an MT10, and it needed some work or something, I can't remember anyway, but we ended up going to JT's in Swansea, where she bought the MT10 from, and they just happened to have this sitting there. It had a Givy screen. I think it was the last one available in the UK or something. I could be wrong on that, but it was a late 2021 model. And yeah, what happened is I sort of spoke to them. I said, how much can I have that bike for? And without any kind of argument or any kind of, ooh, we're doing you a favour, they gave it to me for a price that I really couldn't refuse. Really couldn't refuse. So that kind of made my mind up. That was, okay, so yeah, I need to sell the Aprilia. So luckily, as I knew I would, the Aprilia I sold. The second person who contacted me about it bought it. There was Gary up in Middlesbrough area. I hope you're enjoying it, Gary. I miss that bike, but hey, I hope he's loving it. Yeah, he bought it. As it was, that bike had been perfect. So to the MT10. Why the MT10? The Aprilia had something, a bit of Alfa Romeo-ness about it. You know, the kind of reputation that Alfa Romeo have. You know, they're a bit rusty, they're not very reliable, they'll fall apart, even though that reputation is no longer just, it's stuck with them. And Aprilia have that, even though that platform was 10 years old. And look at this, really? Somebody doesn't know their highway code? Or you? Fucking idiots. Honestly. Anyway, so that platform was 10 years old, so the Tuono, and there's no way if they hadn't sorted out anything by then, they were never going to sort it out. But not an issue, not a problem, not one thing wrong. Funny enough, the MT10 has what I like to call a bit of a Subaru impressiveness about it. In that it's the best bang for the buck and outperforms what you pay for it, which was in the late 90s and early 2000s. The Subaru Impreza, before the chavs jumped all over it, the Subaru Impreza was the best bang for buck car that you could buy. I used to have an RB5 WR Sport, and it was number 170 of 250 built, and that car was awesome. It was absolutely amazing. I paid 22 grand for it, and this thing would outperform 911s, Ferraris, that kind of stuff for 22 grand. And the MT10 is that. Yeah, for the price you pay for it, it outperforms things that you know, it has no right to. The way it handles, the way it goes, the way it drives, everything. There are some things about it that, you know, need some work, such as the rear suspension is a bit soft, the brakes are a bit. I'm not going to say the brakes don't work, because they have saved me on at least 2 occasions. It's just the feel of them is a bit lacking. They could do with a bit more. Yeah. So yeah, brakes need work. But other than that, I don't think you're going to get better than this. I really don't. Especially not for the price. The thing that handles, it shifts as well. It does go. So it looks pretty good as well. I took some footage yesterday when it was a much nicer day. I thought I was vlogging yesterday as well, but I wasn't. So I'll put some of that footage in. Yeah. You can't go wrong with it. You really can't. Anybody considering buying a naked bike, MT10. I've got to be honest though, I don't really like the new one. Apparently it's a better bike. You know, even this, you look at this and you think, ooh. Well, some people do. I think it's a bit fugly. It's aggressive enough looking, but it does look a bit fugly. Again, unlike the Tuono, which is one sexy mofo. But it is what it is. I do like these cars. Love it. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm making it up. Come on, people. It's threatening to rain today as well. Yeah. Oh, on your brakes all the way around. Why? Okay. Why is that camera not working? So here we have it then. 2021 Yamaha MT10, not the SP. I would have liked the SP, but apparently they weren't any available. As you can see, it's lovely. Yeah, in blue. I changed a couple of things. Obviously, levers. Why they put these crappy non-adjustable levers on is beyond me. Again, I wanted the long ones, but they weren't available. Mirrors. I don't know why they insist putting those dumbass donkey ear mirrors on. Honestly, Triumph can do it, so why can't everybody else? As I said, this is, in my opinion, the best bang for buck bike still on the market. I paid 10.3 for this, brand new, 0 miles. It's difficult for anything else to compete. It is very, very, very nice. Lovely. Those tyres are almost done now. My right hand is sucked, but there you go. Yeah. I put the a belly pan from Ermax on it because I think it finished it off, gave it a bit of a chin. Looks a bit wrong when you don't have a belly pan. Again, why do manufacturers insist on not putting one? Yeah, oil and radiator guard as well, because you know what's going to happen if you don't. Bit of a mishmash with colours. Why didn't they put a blue shield on it, or a grey one? Where did black come from? But hey, all little nitpicks. Somebody, not naming any names, but somebody is a numpty and forgot to put a memory card in the 1X2. I wonder who that was. Anyway, that's the new McDonald's at St. Clair's, which everybody bitched about. Oh, I don't want no McDonald's in my area. It brought work, it brought McDonald's. In a McDonald's? What's the problem? It's starting to rain. Anyway, back to the MT10. Things about it that I like. It's comfortable. It goes like stink. Thanks, Mr. Cheers, mate. Fucking idiot. Anyway, it's comfortable. It goes like stink. It's obviously still as invisible as everything else. Yeah. It's cheap to service, I guess. Well, compared to the Aprilia, everything's cheap to service. Yeah, it's just a perfect all-rounder. There is nothing really that you can say is a negative, other than it's called an MT10, but then so was the Aprilia. There's nothing coming that way, because there never is, because that leads you onto that road. Yeah, fuel consumption sucks. It does. Here comes the rain. Other than that, what you see is what you get. Obviously they use some interchangeable parts between everything. The wing mirrors, gone. Stupid wing mirrors. The levers, again. Why do they insist on using crap parts? I know it's mass production, cost, keeping the cost down and all that kind of stuff, but they're using levers from the 1980s, for God's sake. So yeah, everybody changed their lever. I've actually kept the exhaust standard on this, because one thing that I loved and I hated about the Aprilia was the sound. Yeah, when you're travelling through towns and villages and stuff like that on a sunny Sunday afternoon with that thing, honestly, there were times when I was actually embarrassed. But then when you're out on country roads and it's howling, it sounded awesome. It really did sound awesome. But I think the thing that did it for me is that I was going through Larne, that we're going to go through soon, one day, and I wasn't going for it, but I could see 200-300 yards ahead of me there was this little girl with her fingers in her ears, and I'm thinking, well, that's not right. There was a part of me that was giggling my tits off, but the major part of me is thinking, that's not right. It's not fair that this girl should be scared of a bike coming through. So I had a major part of me deciding I'm going to keep this one standard. It sounds good enough as it is, but you know, and there's no chance of me really being pulled by the old bill in Germany, unlike was going to happen at some point on the Aprilia. Yeah, I think I'm happy with my choice. That's not to say that I'm not looking at Aprilia chain cans and all that, but I've been told there's no point just changing the end can on it. I don't know, people tell me, is there any point just changing the end can? I've been told you need to get rid of the mid box and then put the end can on it. A friend of mine's got, two friends of mine got MT10s with Aprilia systems on it, and it sounds like the sky cracking when they open it up. It sounds awesome. But one friend is definitely, oh, I'm not sure if I like this, because it's, yeah, he is a bit of a pussy. Hey Marcus. Yeah, but I understand, especially if you're using it to go to and from work. The last thing you need is all that noise. Last thing I need is this rain. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's still beautiful, even in the rain. There's me thinking it was going to be fine today. Whee! What else? The standard seat that comes on the MT10 is shocking. Yamaha should be ashamed. Honestly, I'm pretty sure the reason why they do it is to force people into buying the comfort seat. Just put the comfort seat on as it is. Yeah? Because the standard seat is horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. What else? The screen, okay, it's not one of these LCD blah 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 screens or whatever. Do you need one? I didn't spend any time looking at the bloody thing anyway. Yeah, because it wouldn't have hurt you to let me go past with it. But no, of course not. Lorries through lawn. And then you get 2 lorries through lawn, and this happens. Let's hope he knows I'm here. I do miss it in that situation, the Tuono, because he would have definitely known I was there. So would the rest of Larne. So would the rest of Southwest Wales. Brown's Hotel, Mr. Dylan Thomas. I wondered, lonely as a guy on a bike, didn't know where he was going in it. Lovely. Thank you. Or should I say thank you? Come on, mate. Thank you. I should have passed this guy when I had the chance. Does it not seem a little bit ridiculous that lorries like this have to come through this? I think it does. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, and another thing that I don't like about the MT10, although people say they're, you know, that's just me, is the tyres. It comes with a Bridgestone BT20s or 22s anyway. Whatever the stock tyres are, I don't like them. Unless it's hot. You don't get much feel from them. If it's hot, yeah, they're fine. But if it's slightly cold, then they're a bit dead. So these tyres are nearly done, mainly because most of my riding's been upright. So these tyres are nearly done. I'm going to either see if I can get some Road 6s at a reasonable price, or if not, I'm more than happy to stick to Road 5s, because the Road 5s I did use on the Aprilia after the first set of tyres were done, and they were awesome. I'd highly recommend them. There's no point sticking to all those super sticky Super Corsa Freeze on the Aprilia if you're going touring or normal road riding, because you're never going to use it. If you're riding around and you're using the full performance of that bike, then you're either wasted because you need to be on a track, or you're a fucking idiot. Because there's no way. So I took the bike to the Nürburgring. Admittedly, it was slow, which is good. And yeah, even then, I'm like, oh my god, there's no way I can keep up with this bike. Right? Could be my skill level, but hey, if you're doing that on the road, mental, absolutely mental. And people say that the MT10 is a beast. I suppose it could be seen as a beast, but compared to the Tuono, it's actually a bit tame. It's not timid. It's a bit tame. Yeah. It's easily managed. Other than the throttle, what everybody says about it is 100% correct. The throttle is way too snatchy. So I intend to actually get that fixed. Junction 33, I believe it is, are the guys to go to get that fixed. So I'm going to get that fixed. And yeah, get it all smoothed out, and then it'll be much better. So throttle seat looks are a bit whatever. Suspension, especially the rear suspension, needs to be a little bit higher. The shock needs to be upgraded. That's kind of why I wanted the SP, because I knew that the shock was a bit dodgy, and I'm not exactly the not dodgy, but that's a shit word. The shock was a bit underwhelming. There you go. And me being of a portly stature, I knew that I'd probably suffer with it, and yeah, it's a bit soft for me. And that is probably about that, really. It's a great bike, the MT10. There's a reason why Yamaha sells so many of them in the UK. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the new one, of the new looks. I might be persuaded to have a look at the SP, because that's what I really wanted. But for now, this is it. No more red and black videos. It's now going to be blue and grey. Hence the new kit. Yeah. Hence the new kit. Yeah. Apologies for the weather. Not much I could do about that, but I will.